This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
We all love my mom, and it was very hard for them to see that blank look on her face and say, who is that? Who is that?
What do you do when the person you love can't even remember who you are? Tonight, Alzheimer's and caring for someone who has it, from the challenges families face coping with it to the strides being made in caregiving and how cutting-edge research is being done right here on the Suncoast. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on Alzheimer's awareness coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin in Bradenton, a community like many here on the Suncoast that struggles with homelessness. Police are now teaming up with nonprofit groups to help the homeless and stop panhandling. Organizations are asking the public to get involved with its new 211 card program. Instead of giving money to panhandlers, you are encouraged to offer them cards with information leading to services where they could find meals and supplies.
We're really turning our attention to this problem, and we're trying to take a compassionate eye. Instead of handing out spare change, try to commit to real change.
We give the clients showers, clothing, food, so anything we can help them out with, we try to do it.
For more information on the program or to find out how you could get some of these cards, just call the number right on them, 211. Protesters in Sarasota are trying to convince voters to vote no on Amendment 1. The amendment would change the state constitution to say consumers shouldn't subsidize those who put solar panels on their homes or businesses. Opponents claim that the utility-backed measure would limit competition and restrict the growth of solar.
Polling shows that support for it has dropped pretty dramatically over the last few weeks, and that's because we're getting the word out that this is really a deception campaign, and people are for the first time really tuning into the issues themselves.
Dozens of similar protests are going on across the state. They come one day after solar advocates asked the Florida Supreme Court to reconsider its approval of the wording on the ballot amendment. The court approved the language in a 4-3 decision back in March. A Florida appeals court says the State Department of Education was wrong in how it handled a request in Sarasota County. Paula Drew requested her 15-year-old daughter be exempt from the state's standardized tests. Her daughter Maddie has cerebral palsy. The request was denied. The First District Court of Appeal ruled in favor of Paula Drew, whose daughter is in the 10th grade at Oak Park School. The department later acknowledged the error and has granted a permanent exemption for Maddie. Students were evacuated at Venice High School today following a bomb threat. All students are safe and accounted for. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office bomb squad searched each building with canines and say no suspicious devices were found. The school received a threat around 1:30 this afternoon. Students were evacuated as a precaution, and an automated call was sent out informing parents. Police have not released any other details about who could have made the threat. Venice drivers are seeing more congestion on the roadways, and it could get even worse as 8 major roadways undergo resurfacing. One of the biggest projects includes the expansion of River Road from 2 to 4 lanes. Other resurfacing projects are taking place on Shamrock Boulevard and Center Road. Signs have already gone up warning drivers of upcoming construction and lane closures. Public Works says the work is needed to keep drivers safe.
It's actually in pretty bad condition. A lot of potholes tend to open up on the roadway during the rainy season, and at the speeds that people are traveling, it makes it somewhat unsafe.
Another major source of congestion is the $16 million road work at US 41 and Venice Avenue. That project is expected to be completed in the spring of 2018. After advocating for local businesses for 5 decades, the Siesta Key Village Association is now dissolving. This week, the board of directors voted to end the association and merge with the Siesta Key Chamber of Commerce. The chamber is now forming a special committee to oversee the village. Once the merger is complete, the chamber will be holding regular public meetings so the community can share its concerns. Guide dogs can provide more than just assistance to the blind. Today, a Gold Star wife opened up about the emotional support these dogs offer. Taya Kyle is the wife of Chris Kyle, who was profiled in the film American Sniper. Kyle spoke to a group at Southeastern Guide Dogs in Palmetto about losing her husband and her family's struggle to get on with their lives.
I think that you can know when you give one of these beautiful dogs to a family or a veteran that you'll probably never know the ripple effect that happens. You'll probably never know what kind of energy that dog brings to the family, to the friends of the family, what healing comes about from these dogs.
Kyle says her guide dog, Norman, senses everything from anxiety to sadness, and she now shares her story in hopes of bringing awareness to the importance of these guide dogs. And Bob, we have one here that is a member of The View with Stephanie Roberts, and it is a loving, wonderful dog.
What a great story right here along the Suncoast, too. A wonderful story that is, indeed. A beautiful day today for the most part. We had some sunshine and some clouds in the afternoon, along with a few very passing quick showers moving through the Suncoast. You can see 80 degrees right now, still pretty warm. Had a high today, just 1 degree shy of a record. Dew point at 66. That number's come up. Winds are out of the north at 5. And the cold front is on the way. There's some relief. The cold front's still way back to the north and west of us. Right now, that front is continuing to push in our direction, but it's located all the way down through Texas, moving slow. There's not a lot of cold air behind it, but what it will do is eventually bring in some slightly drier and cooler air beginning midday on Saturday, I should say. A few showers around right now, not much. The activity pushing basically off to the west right there in southwestern portions of Hardee County. Nothing really in Manatee and Sarasota counties at this time. There were a few brief showers around, but now that one is off the coast of Siesta Key. You can see that right there, and it's moving away from the coast. As far as we're concerned this evening, the planner looks pretty good. A few clouds, an isolated shower up till 8 o'clock possible, but most areas staying dry, and temperatures in the low 70s right on through 11 o'clock. Winds have also calmed down, at least inland. Along the beaches there, the little sea breeze has kicked in out of Anna Maria, northwest, and also a westerly wind now actually changing now to an easterly wind at Minnesota Beach. It had been westerly just about an hour ago. We're looking for this cold front, Alan. It's not a real big one. I don't think you need to get your jackets out quite yet. It will be a little bit breezy with it, and not much rain anticipated with this front.
No problem with that.
All right.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, are you prepared to deal with Alzheimer's disease? We'll show you the toll it could take on our families and the challenges that come along with being a caregiver when we return.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
I had cancer. I beat cancer. I kicked cancer.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WindGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WindGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
More than 5 million Americans have Alzheimer's disease, and that is only the cases we know about. The estimated cost of care provided by family caregivers is over $200 billion. You can't, however, put a price on the emotional toll on both patients and their loved ones. ABC7's Alex Redmond joins us with more. Alex.
Thank you, Alan. Alzheimer's is among the most devastating of progressive diseases because those diagnosed know what their future may hold, and caregivers may have to reach deep within to muster both emotional and physical strength. We all forget things occasionally, our keys, a birthday, or the time, but when Jean Korn forgets.
I fear that's it. I have it. I have it. And I'm scared to death. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Korn has a family history of Alzheimer's disease.
Oh my gosh, my mom was a great person. She was a funny, well-educated, happy, loving, very trusting person.
Then, Korn says, the parent became the child and the child became the parent.
She would repeat herself. She would buy pantry full of the same thing over and over again. And like the typical dementia or Alzheimer's patient, she would forget where she put things.
The progression of the disease became more serious and complicated. Korn was her mother's primary caregiver.
She didn't understand the concept of taking a shower. She didn't understand the concept of using a bowl for food.
The emotional toll on Korn's family was devastating.
Because we all love my mom, and it was very hard for them to see that blank look on her face and say, who is that? Who is that?
According to the Alzheimer's Association, 5.4 million people in the U.S. have Alzheimer's disease. Sarasota County, more than 18,600, and Manatee County, more than 11,300. And these are only the ones we know of.
Caregiving is changing and shifting in demographics. So the average caregiver now is going to be an older adult caring for another older adult. So a 70-year-old woman caring for a 79-year-old man who may have those cognitive changes. That it looks like the demographics.
Karen Reynolds of Sarasota Memorial Hospital's geriatric department is an advanced practice nurse and says we need to prepare future caregivers.
And all of a sudden they have to provide these high-tech medical, they have to manage finances, end-of-life decisions, and this creates, again, that huge emotional stress.
Reynolds says this is where we are now with treatment.
Medications that simply prolong some symptomology. There's a lot of research that is currently going on with regards to looking at proteins in the brain.
So there's been a number of years where medications were failing, trials were failing, but now we have a way of measuring amyloid in the brain from the outside using a PET scan. So when we have a targeted therapy that goes after amyloid, we know we're giving it to people who have amyloid in their brain.
Roskamp Institute in Sarasota conducts clinical trials and is dedicated to developing medication and therapeutic treatments for Alzheimer's disease. Clinical Medical Director Dr. Andrew Keegan says we are making progress.
I have that perspective that we're incrementally seeing improvements. We're getting closer to the targets, and I think we're doing a better job on treating people with the right medicine and picking the right patients.
Reynolds says the hope is a healthy lifestyle will help slow progression.
Exercise, the right foods to eat, socialization, managing depression, early depression. There are some symptoms that do precede Alzheimer's on a continuum for brain health.
Corn leads a healthy lifestyle, exercises both mind and body, and says taking care of Mom while grueling was a privilege.
You can't get angry, you can't get mad, you have to go with whatever is happening.
Caregivers often neglect their own needs, and many find it takes a toll on their own health. The Suncoast offers many resources, including the Sarasota Friendship Center and Sarasota Memorial Hospital, that offer support and much-needed respite.
Alex, thank you. And when we come back, our roundtable with experts from the Alzheimer's Association, Sarasota Memorial Hospital, and the Roskamp Institute. Stay with us.
Looking for something fun to do on a Friday night? Then come to Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Enjoy free live music, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Meet up with friends, enjoy activities for the kids, or make it a special date night. And be sure to stop by the ABC7 booth and say hello. Mark your calendars for Music on Main, first Friday of the month, 6 to 9 at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by ABC7 and these sponsors.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better eater.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting Loose Salon.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Welcome back. November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. According to the Alzheimer's Association, the disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, claiming nearly 700,000 lives each year. Of the top 10 causes of death in the U.S., it is the only one that can't be prevented or cured. Joining us with more on Alzheimer's awareness is Karen Reynolds, an advanced nurse practitioner at Sarasota Memorial Hospital, Lisa Milne, the vice president of the Alzheimer's Association Gulf Coast chapter, and Dr. Andrew Keegan of the Roskamp Institute. And Doctor, I was fascinated by what you were saying in Alex's story about the research that is going on and the research that is going on here. What are you focusing on?
I think right now we're trying to focus on some targeted therapies. As I kind of indicated, we're trying to say who really specifically has Alzheimer's dementia or Alzheimer's disease, so we go right after that target with a specific medication.
Well, let me ask you, for people out there who don't understand, is there a difference in the two?
Well, we've learned actually through research that some of the people we're diagnosing with Alzheimer's dementia may not actually have Alzheimer's in the pathology, and that we have to look real closely, and there are new imaging techniques that we're testing now to see if we can diagnose it from the outside.
What's the difference?
It seems like the other type may be more of a vascular process or perhaps some other type of pathology like Lewy body. So.
And Lewy body, which is something that has been in the news because apparently that's what Robin Williams was diagnosed with, correct?
Yeah, correct.
You know, I have gone through this. I'm going through this now with my mom. I went through this with my dad, my aunt, and my uncle. And the frustrating part of it is that the therapies that are out there are symptomatic, but don't really work that well.
Right.
Is that going to change at least anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm hoping some of the medicines in the phase 3, the final phases, or later phase 2 are actually something that will be specifically going after the disease itself, as opposed to being symptomatic treatments. But we still have to wait to find out if the results will be positive, but at least we're closer to that result being out there.
Time frame?
In the next couple of years, we should be hearing results from these studies.
That's very exciting. But in the interim, the burden of dealing this in the medical situation really kind of falls not only on the caregivers, but to professionals like yourselves. And, you know, Karen, you see this every single day in the hospital setting, and I would imagine you see people who are either suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, and they and their families may not even know it.
Yes, we see patients come in the hospital, mainly older adults, and what happens is they come in for mainly a physiologic condition, some other diagnoses, and what happens
like
then,
what?
Maybe a lung problem or a heart problem, or they come in for surgeries, and sometimes we find then that they have impact, being in the hospital, they can have impact on their cognitive changes, and we identify, and sometimes asking targeted questions on what was the baseline of this individual before they came in the hospital, and sometimes we find out that there were changes that preceded some of the things that we're seeing while they're in the hospital. So then we help families and caregivers. Can there be a sudden onset of these cognitive changes because of a trauma that winds up, results in them going to the hospital? There is, it's called delirium, which is different than dementia, but it is on somewhat of the same continuum. So delirium is more of an acute and sudden change in cognition where the brain doesn't really keep up with a lot of the environmental changes that are happening, or certain medications can affect it, or certain physiologic conditions. But we find, though, that that can precede then a more chronic state, which then is the dementia that we're seeing. And Lisa, when these individuals come home from the hospital, it is, families need so much support. And the question that I want to dive into deeper later is the support getting out there and getting better?
It is. I feel the services provided by the Alzheimer's Association really help get the families where they need to be as far as support and education go with the disease. Physicians don't have a lot of time to spend on explaining what the disease is and the process and the medications, and the Alzheimer's Association can help with that.
All right, we are just getting started here on this really important subject. Our discussion of Alzheimer's disease is just getting started. More when we come back, but first, our local weather forecast.
Christmas Tradition by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
On horrendously cold nights, on days when the rain has been relentless, or when the sun is beating down, there is an animal trapped with no protection, fighting to stay alive. Time is running out for them, but you can help save them by joining the ASPCA today. With your donation of just $18 a month, you'll help rescue abused and neglected animals, provide them with food, shelter, and medical care. When you go online or call in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you this free membership kit and our limited edition 150th anniversary t-shirt. It's just 60 cents a day to pull animals out of a terrible life. Don't let them suffer another day. Please help now.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
More on Alzheimer's disease with our roundtable in just a moment, but right now let's get a check on our weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A good sunset tonight. Tower cam getting a look at this. This is time lapse showing you the sun going down there just around 6:45, and we'll be changing time as we move through the weekend. So this will be coming a little bit earlier. Get a look at that. Nice photo sent in too. Daniel, I'll get this one off Facebook. From the Field Club looking over Sarasota Bay. A few clouds around, cumulonimbus clouds. There were some nimbus and some of that activity that moved on through. And that one from Amy. And the showers that are around now are very weak and pushing off toward the west. Not a lot of rainfall with these, and they're continuing to really weaken as they make their way off into the Gulf of Mexico. Right now you can see some of that activity pushing from the east to the west and that east to northeasterly wind flow around that area of high pressure. And there's one lone shower now just off of Siesta Key. Elsewhere, some spotty light sprinkles now from northward of Lakewood Ranch. Currently at the airport, still pretty warm, 80 degrees. We have clouds, and the dew point temperature now pretty high, 66. Winds are out of the north at 5, and the pressure 30.09 inches. The high today was a hot one, 88, 1 degree shy of the record. And the normal high at 81 degrees, that's what we're going to get back to with the passage of this cold front, which will happen late Friday, early Saturday now. And so look for temperatures to get closer to average over the weekend, and not extremely cold, but back to average. No rainfall officially at the airport. Temperatures around the area, 77 now at the Bradenton Country Club, Palmetto at 81, 78 in Waterleaf, and 76 now. Whitney Beach, Longbow Key, pretty much the same story there. 79 at Lake Sarasota. Port Charlotte, you're at 76, 2 degrees warmer in Northport. Venice, 77, and Inglewood at 76 degrees. Hourly forecast for Friday, look for partly cloudy skies. High temperatures still a couple degrees above average. We'll see low to mid 80s near the beaches, mid to upper 80s inland. One more day of temperatures slightly above average, and then things start to change a little bit. That wind will change too. It'll become more northerly in time, and you'll see that shift happening late Friday and into Saturdays. With that north wind, it means ushering in some slightly cooler temperatures. We'll see some clouds with this front. A few brief showers are possible. The front itself now is well to the north of us. You can see it kind of stretching right there all the way through and down into Texas. This front will continue to push to the southeast and should be on the doorstep of North Florida by midday tomorrow. As far as the wind flow goes, it starts to shift already. You can see that shift over Arkansas and Texas becoming more northerly there. We're still under the influence of this high pressure ridge, though, providing us with that easterly component. In the tropics, this area is weakening as it makes its way into the open waters of the Atlantic. Just a 10% chance of it developing over time. And now here's the future cast showing that cold front coming down. This is Friday at 7:30. And again, this is one model's depiction of this front. It looks like it moves through late Friday, and then by Saturday, that wind becomes more northerly in time, and that will bring in some slightly cooler temperatures. And nice in Boston, 55 degrees. Detroit the same, and much warmer out west, 70 in Rapid City and 71 now into Wichita, Dallas at 72. For boaters, winds start out around 5 to 10 knots, picking up in the afternoon at 15 knots. There'll be a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 76 degrees. Tides upcoming on your screen, and the sunrise will be at 7:43. Partly cloudy and then fair, 66 for a low. Tomorrow, look for partly cloudy, warm conditions, highs in the mid-80s, and north winds 5 to 10. The extended forecast. There are those comfortable temperatures coming back into play over the weekend and sticking around right through next week. Alan will be right back after this.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we get lessons in pet portrait painting, plus Siesta Key rum and Gold Rush barbecue in the kitchen. Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose big time. Luckily, You can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPV.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com. AND services.com.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing Alzheimer's disease with our panel. Our guests tonight are geriatrics nurse Karen Reynolds, Lisa Milne of the Gulf Coast Alzheimer's Association, and Dr. Andrew Keegan of the Roskamp Institute. You know, Doctor, we were talking during the break, having the Roskamp Institute right here is an incredible advantage for patients and families around here. There is also the Bird Center up in Tampa, which is an excellent place. You know, point of personal storytelling, I mean, we had to physically move my mom up from South Florida to our area when she could not care for herself any longer in South Florida. You have these wonderful facilities around here, but many families may come to the conclusion that or ask the question, is it worthwhile to take their loved one to some place like Roskamp or the Bird Institute and put their loved one through all this rigorous testing if you're not going to get a lot out of it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think going to have that first diagnosis, that official diagnosis, a higher level center is very helpful in getting that started. And then in the beginning, there may be some good trials that people can participate, some clinical trials that may offer a newer level of help, and those people can help the next generation, the next group of people understand the disease. But after some time, the disease does progress to a point where you just want to provide good quality of care. You want to connect with the centers that are out in the area to try to help this patient and their family actually get through this process, because it's a difficult thing.
It's an extremely difficult thing, not only for the person going through it, but for their loved ones. And then again, in my own experience, families find themselves not knowing where to turn. Because there are big decisions. There are big financial decisions. There are big decisions about looking for either assisted living or memory care. So if there was one thing that both of you could say to people out there who are nodding their heads at the television right now, what would that be?
I think I would tell people that you're not alone. There are many caregivers dealing with this disease, with Alzheimer's disease, and there are agencies like the Alzheimer's Association available to help you through this. So we can help point you in the direction of physicians, of facilities. We can help if you want home care. We can point you in that direction. Financial planning. We can sit down with a family and take the time to actually go through the disease and what all it entails and help point them in the direction of resources in the community.
Is this new? Because, you know, I don't like keep reverting to my own personal experience, but, you know, going back, 10, 15 years, when I was first dealing with this with my dad or my aunt and uncle, there wasn't that kind of organized body that you could go to ask questions about where you go.
The Alzheimer's Association has been around since the 80s, the early 80s. So we've been here, it's just we haven't really been utilized very much. So we're hoping to get the word out that people will call us and will come see us for assistance.
And Karen, the other thing that many families find that when it comes to caregiving, both in the hospital and at home, the difficulty with the person who is going through that is that they sometimes cannot help in their own rehabilitation because they don't understand what is going on. Is that not correct?
Right. Sometimes caregiving is thrust upon individuals. It's something that suddenly comes up and they aren't well prepared for it. So I think that that's really something that communities can help with. I think that's something that hospitals can help with when it's identified to support caregivers in their role. I think one thing I wanted to iterate too is the self-care of the caregivers, which is very, very important as they provide hours, endless hours upon hours to make sure that they care for themselves so that they're at their best to care for those individuals as well.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because when you're in a situation like that, you're almost feeling like you're underwater. So how do you go about that when you are not only in many cases worrying about your own family, if you're married and you have children, and you're now dealing with a parent who in many ways requires just as much care as a child does?
Now, again, calling upon those community resources, the Alzheimer's Association, friends, families, I think we all need to kind of rally around this and look at the vital role that caregivers play in supporting this whole infrastructure and this aging generation too.
Because there could be two components of this. There is dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia, but also there are a lot of other medical things that can happen that complicate, the care. Is that not correct?
Yeah, and to Karen's point, we'll often, when I'm seeing a patient, we'll be looking also at the caregiver, and you can detect stress, and you're saying, hey, you really need to join a support group or get involved, contact the Alzheimer's Association, and the next couple of visits are that much easier for them. They feel kind of connected to a community that's out there that, again, helps them move through the system.
But in many places, and Sarasota is a large community where these services are available. Some people experience there is a lack of continuity of care. A senior citizen may have a personal care physician, which is all well and fine if they can get to and from the doctor's office, but when that starts breaking down and the person finds themselves without access to their primary care physician, and they're going from hospital to hospital in emergent situations, isn't that really kind of the difficult place to be?
Yeah, that is a difficult situation to handle, and we kind of depend on the support networks out there to facilitate a change there.
And there are some community there's a Sarasota Senior Advisory Council, of which I'm a member, and we're looking at transportation as it's not a privilege, it's a right for individuals to get access to transportation, to get to where they need to, and mainly are vulnerable older adults, those that have cognitive changes, those that have functional changes, those that can't get to and from where they need to, and it's a community effort. It really is.
I would imagine that some of this is more complicated, especially around here, because this is a community where a lot of people retire and their families are in the Northeast or the Midwest and so forth, so they are down here by themselves when they need that care. Is that, does that make all this more complicated?
I would say yes. It's more challenging to deal with the family dynamics. Sometimes the children will call and say, well, Dad sounds fine to me, so why do you think he has an issue? And we have to go in and kind of help facilitate that occasionally. But as far as resources, they're everywhere. I mean, they can reach out to the Senior Friendship Center for help here. And I would also advocate for respite care for caregivers. Make sure that they're taking a break and taking care of themselves. And that can be done by calling us or by calling a home health agency. Because
the patient themselves react in different ways when they're going through this. Some become quite combative. Some need more assistance than others. I would imagine there is a range of services that you need and reactions you get to help. Am I,
You Yeah, it is. It's kind of, again, it's on a continuum of identifying where the individual is at, what services they'll need and provide. Some are very high tech, some are very high, tech medical skills they'll need. So those resources need to be made available to those individuals.
Doctor, I don't want to generalize here, but are there therapies and even exercises that can help in terms of prevention, or at least the management of these things in short-term cases?
I mean, I think in the early stages, as we've all heard through probably lots of different programs about the importance of exercise, eating right, having some routines in their life that are important, socializing, those are all big factors. And then maybe being connected to somebody who is a little more of a dementia expert to kind of step them through those changes that occur over the next 6 months, kind of anticipate what may happen, kind of anticipate or have a plan in place, so when that starts happening, you know what to do, how to react to it, so it doesn't become an emergency or a change.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll have a final thoughts with our guests, plus comments from our viewers.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
The all-new MySuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Enjoy fine wine, craft beer, and delicious foods, all while supporting a great cause at the 15th Annual Suncoast Food and Wine Festival, Saturday, November 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Sarasota Polo Club. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample cuisine from the area's finest restaurants. Watch live cooking demonstrations from local chefs and take part in a silent auction to bid on creative prize packages that will delight any foodie or wine connoisseur. The event will feature live music by Kettle of Fish. There's free parking, and all proceeds benefit a variety of local charities and Rotary Club projects. Don't miss this year's Suncoast Food and Wine Festival, Saturday, November 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Sarasota Polo Club. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
Welcome back. Millions of Americans are suffering from Alzheimer's right now, and even more are helping care for them, working to find a cure. Our guests join us now for final thoughts. So let's wrap this up. It's Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And I'm going to ask you from your own individual perspectives, what do you want people to know? And I'll start with you.
I would like people to know that there's support out there, that I think that we need to rally around them as a community and help them. The access point that I provide care in the hospital is sometimes the first time that we see them, and help identify the needs of the person with dementia and then the caregiver themselves, and just to kind of make that plan of care for them to make sure their quality of life is maintained.
Lisa?
I would like people to know that an agency like ours exists and to call us early in the disease process. As soon as you get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, give the Alzheimer's Association a call so we can help you plan for the future.
And let's ask, is there any cost involved? Because people are always concerned about that.
Sure, there are no costs involved in our services, but we do have our Walk to End Alzheimer's coming up on November 12th at Nathan Benderson Park. So everyone is welcome to come out and help support the Alzheimer's Association so we can continue to give these services for free.
Dr. give people some hope who are struggling with this right now in terms of what is out there, what is coming our way in terms of dealing with this?
So I mean, I would encourage people to get involved early. Any symptoms, any fear that they're having, go get a free memory screen. You can get it here, you can get it at Sarasota Memorial. There's multiple places you can get free memory screens, so you get involved early. And the whole idea of the future treatments are to start before the disease becomes dementia, when it's just kind of a mild cognitive impairment, or even people pre-symptomatic may be able to get into a treatment program before the disease develops.
Is that especially more important for people who have a family history?
Yeah, it would be more important with the family history, because some of these things are now looked at genetically, or the medications can be adjusted based on genetics or family history.
All right. I want to thank you all for being here for tonight. Our guests include Karen Reynolds, who is an advanced nurse practitioner at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Lisa Milne is a vice president of the Alzheimer's Association of Gulf Coast Community Chapter, and Dr. Andrew Keegan is with the Ross Camp Institute. When we return, we'll have a final look at our weather, plus there are 5 days until the election, and both campaigns are making a final push for votes. We'll have details in our primetime headlines.
You might feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that, you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team.
Just that simple act is transforming someone else's life.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Let's get a final check of our weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Ellen. I'll tell you what, we are looking at another warm day today. High temperatures just 1 degree shy of setting a record into the upper 80s. This is the Lakewood Ranch webcam. Nice day throughout most of it. A few spotty showers here and there, but overall, it looks as though temperatures will stay pretty warm again on Friday, and then they'll get slightly cooler over the weekend, at least back to average, and that's a result of a cold front, which is making its way through parts of the Mid-Atlantic coast states, right through the Tennessee Valley. High pressure, which has been dominating the weather, though, is slipping off to the east now. That's providing us with an east and northeasterly wind flow. And around that high pressure ridge, we're looking at generally fair skies overnight. A few spotty showers I mentioned have been around throughout this evening. Most of that activity widely scattered and not very heavy at all. And it's now winding down. One lone shower near Northport, and also some activity just about 10 minutes ago off of Siesta, continuing to move away from the coast there. Nothing really happening along Longboat Key at this time. Currently, we do have partly cloudy conditions, 80 degrees. Dew point is at 66, and the winds are out of the north at 5 miles an hour. The pressure, 30.09 inches. There it is, 88 degrees today. Our normal high, 81. We'll be back to that normal high beginning on Saturday and continuing throughout much of next week. The record low, 41, that was set back in 1963. This morning's low was warm. No rainfall officially at the airport today. Temperatures around the area, 80 degrees at Longboat Key, 76 at Whitney Beach, Northwest Bradenton, 81, 77 in Parrish, and Laurel Oak right there at 79 degrees. Northport, you're at 77, Port Charlotte and Inglewood at 75. Well, the forecast tomorrow looks to be pretty good. We'll have high temperatures warming up into the low to mid 80s for the most part. Partly cloudy conditions anticipated. The rain chance less than 20% throughout the day. And those winds will eventually switch more to a northerly direction. That begins mainly Friday afternoon and evening. And with that north wind coming back into play, that means some slightly cooler temperatures. We're looking for high temperatures in the low 80s. It's not a big cold front. Looking at long-range models, though, indications are that we'll see a stronger cold front move through next weekend. Not this one, but next weekend. A fairly significant cold front is expected to make its way through with the forecast models suggesting that. The cold front now near West Virginia, stretching through Tennessee, all the way over to Texas this evening. You see some of that heavier rainfall moving through Dallas earlier. The low pressure center associated with it, so far away though, it's not going to generate a lot of lift with the system as it moves through. So we're not anticipating a widespread rain event, just some scattered showers are possible as the system makes its way through. This is a tropical low which is trying to develop but doesn't have much chance as it heads off into the open waters of the Atlantic. I mentioned the forecast model. You can see it quite clearly. There's the front. Some showers. This is at 8 o'clock over north central Florida. And then for us, maybe a few spotty showers on Friday night. Should not be a big factor for football Friday night. And then by Saturday midday, most of that front should have cleared our area, and we'll see a return to northerly wind flow, which will cool us off. Around the United States, it's 55 in Boston, same in Detroit. And in Omaha, warmer, 69 degrees. Denver at 66, and Dallas in the 70s there, 70 in Oklahoma City, Houston at 81. They're out ahead of the cold front. Atlanta 76 now, and in Birmingham, Alabama 79. The forecast for boaters, winds start out light and then pick up throughout the afternoon. Seas running right around 2 feet. It gets a little rough going over the weekend for boaters with that front moving in. Water temperature at 76 degrees. Forecast tides upcoming. The next one, a low tide. Another low tide at 10:55 tomorrow morning, and sunrise will be at 7:43. The forecast tonight, partly cloudy, then mostly fair after midnight, 66 for a low, and then northeast winds 5 to 10. And then for tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 86, north winds 5 to 10. The extended forecast does call for nice weather over the weekend, and looks like right at the end through voting day on Tuesday looks to be okay. No problems weather-wise. Alan will be right back after this.
Let SWC Properties sell your home today. Take advantage of this great market and sell your home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. SWC Properties gives you the benefit of full-service marketing that sells your home faster with the fewest hassles. There are no hidden fees, and now for a limited time we'll list your home for 50% off. Wouldn't it feel great to save thousands and feel confident with your move? Give us a call for details or visit swcproperties.com and contact us for free information packet and find out why. It's simple. We just market your home better.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner.
After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you. Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call the number on the screen now to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. Call now.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just
get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Are we there yet? It's Thursday, the election is Tuesday, and both campaigns are calling in the big guns. Melania Trump delivering her first solo speech of the general election, and President Obama campaigning for Hillary Clinton across the state of Florida. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest from Washington.
As election season winds down, the campaigns are gearing up.
Let's get out and vote, and let's vote for the kind of future that we want, the kind of country that we want.
With your vote, we are just, can you believe this, 5 days away from the change you've been waiting for your entire life.
And both candidates are leaning heavily on their biggest supporters. Hillary Clinton, backed by President Obama.
Make no mistake, Florida, all the progress we've made goes out the window if we don't win this election.
And Donald Trump, supported by his wife, Melania Trump.
I come here today to talk about my husband, Donald.
In her long-awaited speech, Melania addresses the crowd in Pennsylvania solo for the first time in the general election campaign.
He pledged to restore integrity to Washington and respect for America abroad. This is not an ordinary campaign. It is a movement.
Both candidates wrap up the day in North Carolina, a key swing state in a race that's locked in a tie. The latest ABC News Washington Post national tracking poll shows Clinton holding a 2-point lead with 47 to Trump's 45.
While the race is neck and neck, our poll also shows that many groups are more separated than ever. 22 points divide men and women. That's more than double the norm. And there's a 65-point gap between whites and non-whites. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
You only have 2 more days to take advantage of early voting. The last day in both Sarasota and Manatee counties is Saturday. In Manatee, voting locations are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In Sarasota County, early voting locations are open from 8:30 to 6:30. The general election is this Tuesday, November 8th. Finally, around here, you may be a Rays fan, a Yankees fan, Red Sox, Orioles, Pirates, but let's give it up for the Cubs. Right, Dave? The Cubs won their first World Series since 1908 last night, an 8-7 victory over the Cleveland Indians. Game 7 was a nail-biter that went for 10 innings, featured a rain delay, and went past midnight. Today, the victorious Cubs return home with the World Series trophy. Here's what one person who has called Chicago home for a long time had to say.
The last time the Cubs had won, Thomas Edison was alive, and they hadn't invented sliced bread yet. So, you know the expression, there's the greatest thing since sliced bread? This is actually, for Cubs fans, the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Now, Wrigley Field is flying a W, celebrating the end of a century-old curse. And that's all the time we have. I'm Alan Cohn. Good night.